Yo, you're watching Shurkou, we're back with some more Pokémon Unite, and today we will be checking out the first out of two tier lists that I will be making to prepare you guys for the upcoming mobile release. Now, why do we need to make two tier lists? Well, this one is gonna be the SOLOQ jungle tier list, and the next one that I'm gonna be uploading in a couple of days is gonna be the SOLOQ laner tier list. If you don't wanna miss that one, make sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell to, see the video as soon as it is out. But yeah, why are we separating jungle and laning positions? Well, because jungling is really broken in this game, guys, okay? If you are gonna be that solo queue 1v9 type of player that really wants to win as much as possible and wants to carry his teammates whenever they're not playing optimally, to put it nicely, as much as possible, then you really want to main jungle. In this game, you will always be 2 levels ahead of everybody, you will lead the macro, you're the only one ganking pretty much, you're gonna have most of the time these execution abilities that can really secure the Dreadnought and the Zapdos during late game fights and mid game fights. So really insane role. So I just had to separate them because I realized I started making like a full tier list and it just didn't work, man. I was putting Talonflame above lots of other Pokemon that are really much stronger than it, but because Talonflame goes into the jungle, it just has more solo carry potential. Again, these two tier lists are gonna be all about solo carrying. I myself reached top 500, almost like top 550 global, solo queuing only, and following most of the advice that I'm gonna be giving you in this video here and in the upcoming one for the SOLOQ laner tier list. But yeah, before we get into the explanations here, I'll be telling you the best fact about each Pokemon. I was trying to go in depth, but the video was way too long, man, so I had to scrap that. So for each Pokemon, I will tell you why they are in that tier, and I will give you their best fact and their moveset that you want to use, so you can pretty much go into the game, you will know which moveset to run, you will know what your biggest strength is, what to play around, and hopefully you will be able to do quite well on all of these with a brief little introduction that I will give you. But before we get into those introductions and explanations, I also have to tell you that we haven't had a balance patch in quite some time right now in Pokémon Unite. So many people, me included, speculate that we will get lots of balance updates whenever the mobile version drops. So, you know, the game will be down for like 10 hours. I think they will give us lots of balance changes on all of the Pokemon, and we might even get some held item changes, which never happened so far. So that would obviously shake up the meta a lot. A lot of people are speculating about that as well on Reddit, so we'll see if that will happen. But anyway, just for your information, this might become outdated, but again, this is where you subscribe and ring the notification bell, because of course I would instantly make a video about the balance changes, and I would also make an updated tier list as soon as I played enough on the new patch then. But yeah, let's get finally into it. We're looking at S rank first here, and we have the Greninja and the Blastoise as a close second. Now, Blastoise, I'm going to talk about that first because this Pokemon is completely busted, guys, okay? It completely killed the whole meta. It made some Pokemon much weaker than they're supposed to be because they just can't play against Blastoise. Blastoise is really that strong. It is meta-breakingly strong, okay? So this is the only Pokemon that will be in both tier lists because it is the best for laners and it is the second best for junglers as well. It's just that broken, okay? You go Rapid Spin, Water Spout, again, most likely will receive a fat nerf, but if it doesn't, abuse it while you can. It is absolutely insane. The best way, or again, one of the best ways to solo carry teams, man. You're a defender that deals 40% damage every second game or so. Okay, so I don't think I need to say more. It is just really that busted. It just has everything, okay? And the reason why I put it so highly in the jungle as well, even though it's not seen as a jungler usually by most people, but again, in my master tier games lately, I'm seeing more and more people pick it in the jungle. So more and more people are figuring it out. That is really insane. Simply because Blastoise is so strong, but with the rapid spin and water spout build, it relies on a little bit of a level advantage. And trust me, that it will have if you pick it in the jungle. Again, you will always be 2 levels ahead. So it is a no-brainer. It is really insane. Then we have the actual best jungler, Greninja. Now, how is Greninja higher than Blastoise? Well, it is mainly due to just having so many options, okay? I gave you a clear-cut move set for Blastoise, but for Greninja I can't do that because all 4 of the moves are really, really strong and can be mixed and matched according to situation. But for the most part, you will be taking Smokescreen most of the games, you know. But the other 2 really, really interchangeable. Surf is really strong. Shuriken is also really strong. Especially Surf is the best in solo queue, I would say, because it really allows you to pop off during fights. If you get that reset, you can pretty much destroy the entire team as soon as you kill one enemy. So that snowball potential is always really strong in MOBA games, and it is no different with Greninja here. So I definitely recommend you to take Surf, but if the enemies are tanky, don't be stupid, because Surf is that assassination tool. It's going to be tough to get resets when you're playing against the Wigglytuff, against Blastoise, against the Snorlax, you know. It's going to be tough, right? Now again, they will pretty much always have one of these, so don't be afraid. You should still take it then, but if they have like 2 of these, maybe even 3, then it is tough to pull off. So then Shuriken is a really, really strong choice as well. And again, having that option, you know, to build more of a melee assassin or build more of a ranged attacker playstyle is just so powerful for Greninja. And Surf deals way too much damage, Shuriken deals way too much damage. I think you get the gist of this. Moving on to Zeraora. The only one in A tier, because it is clearly behind Greninja and Blastoise here, but it is clearly ahead of the B and C tier Pokemon. So I really felt the need to put it in a single tier. This is one of the most standard junglers. This is one of the most recommendable junglers to you, because we will probably be getting it for free on mobile as well. Now, don't quote me on that. I think I just remember that they said, because the Switch players all received it for free, lots of people were asking about mobile, and I think they said that mobile will also get an event where you can get it for free, which is amazing, because again, this is probably even better for you as a beginner to play in the jungle, because it's much easier to pull off than the Surf Greninja. It's much easier to play. And the strongest thing it has is really that discharge and the Unite move. The burst that these 2 combined moves have is just absolutely insane. You will always be able to one-shot somebody in the late game. And again, Zapdos is so important. But the thing about this Pokemon, why it doesn't sit at S tier, is that it gets the Unite move not at level 9, it gets it at level 10. Same for the Discharge. Greninja gets Surf at level 7, Zeraora gets Discharge at level 8, so it's always a little bit later. So you might always be a little bit behind the enemy jungler unless you're able to get a kill early game and really pull ahead of them. So yeah, but definitely this drawback is not enough to make it anywhere near bad or even anywhere near average even. It's still a top tier Pokemon. So yeah, really, really strong. Just keep in mind that this is your little thing to play around. You know, you need a little bit of a level lead to be extremely strong, but then you're super OP. Moving on to the B tier. Now these are going to be very controversial, guys, and I know lots of people are already dissecting me in the comment section, man, because I have Absol and Gengar in C tier and I have these weirdos in B tier all above them. Let me explain, okay? One of the best ways to solo carry in this game, and why I think jungling is also so OP, is goal getter. Jungle is the only position that can use goal getter, okay? So goal getter, for those of you who don't know, who are coming in new into the game from as mobile players, it doubles, it halves the time that you need to score, to dunk, you know, the channel time. So you can really sneak some more scores, especially in the late game. You know, if you can sneak that 50 with the goal getter by yourself, by sneaking behind the enemy lines while they're trying to fight your team for the Zapdos, it gets doubled to 100 and you completely solo carry the game. It happens so often. That's why I go goal getter on Greninja, has the invisibility from smoke screen to get behind them, and that is why Talonflame is sitting at this high of a rank. B tier at the tippity top, right behind Zeraora pretty much. It's definitely much worse than the Zeraora, don't get me wrong, but because it has so much range on all of these gap closers, and I really recommend Brave Bird and the directional dash, which is the Flame Rush, I believe it's called, because you will just be able to maneuver around the map super quickly, use that score shield in conjunction with the goal getter to get 3 points everywhere around the map, and then you will be just, yeah, that's what makes you carry super hard in these games, especially in solo queue. And you will see in my solo queue laner tier list as well, you will see Crustle sitting at a very high rank for solo queue again, just for solo queue. For team play, not that good. But for solo queue, absolutely insane, because again, you don't use goal getter, but you just keep running behind the enemy's lines with your shell smash, and you can just keep dunking for free, you know? And that just really accumulates those points and makes you win the game in the end. And again, similar for Machamp. Machamp has another really huge strength though. Like Machamp can get some of these scores while sneaking them, right, with its submission. But the really big upside to Machamp and why it is so high is the Unite move. Now this is a very high skill cap Unite move, right? You punch everyone in front of you, you group them up together, and you deal so much damage to them. You also make it super easy for your team to just basically auto-aim their AoE skill shots, and they will hit like 3 people or even 4 if you manage to group 4 of them together. And then the team fight is completely won, right? Super easy. So if you are good with Machamp, with that Unite move, you can really hard carry teams. And again, I really recommend it to be played in the jungle. I wouldn't play it in the lane. You're very reliant on submission, and submission needs that level 5 to unlock. And that's exactly what you get after one full jungle rotation. So as long as not a pesky Lucario comes to invade you, you will be chilling. You will be at your power spike. You will be ready to go for the rest of the game. And you will be able to scale smoothly. You also have an insane gank at level 5. So Machamp definitely well deserved in the middle of the pack here. Then we move to Cinderace. And I will actually pair them up together with Charizard because they work very similarly. They're not strong early game, which is why I would put them in the jungle so they can scale up, you know. And putting them so close to each other, you're probably thinking, like some of the experienced players are probably thinking I'm crazy. But guys, trust me, Charizard is such a piece of garbage. Everyone hates it, man. As soon as you see that Charmander walking to your lane, so you have to dual lane with it, you're just gonna know you're not gonna have fun that game, right? Because it's just that weak. But if you put it into the jungle, it can really reliably get to that Charizard, to that final evolution fast. And as soon as it gets that Unite move might as well be one of the top 3 Unite moves in the game, because it makes you unstoppable, it makes you fly over walls, makes you deal 1 billion damage with each basic attack. And again, the enemies can kill you, they can burst you down, but they can't stop you from flying. They can't crowd control you, so you can really dodge all the damage and just completely murder them. And you can still keep walking while you're using your basic attack as well. So it's really hard to chase you down and get away from you as well. So Charizard really insane as soon as it gets level 9. But if it gets level 9, again, you go for that, what's it called? You go for that muscle band and the energy amplifier, and you can just tear apart teams. And similar to that Cinderace, early game, not that strong, but as soon as it gets the other moves like Blaze Kick and Feint, and also especially level 13, where you get Feint to give you bonus attack speed for a couple of seconds, the move upgrade of Feint, then you really start to shine, okay? And whenever you have these really strong late game Pokemon, they can do lots of work for the Zapdos fight. And if you win the Zapdos fight, you pretty much win the game, okay? So that is just how the game works. So these two are really insane. And yeah, definitely a tier above the next two. And the next two are supposed to be junglers, but they're just not sitting at a good, like Cinderace and Charizard weren't supposed to be junglers. I don't think the developers intended for that. But Absol and Gengar definitely seem like they have jungling movesets, but the issue with these two is just one of them, the Absol, is so strong early game, but completely terrible late game. And the other one, exactly the opposite. Gengar is so weak early game, but pretty insane late game, but they nerfed that, right? When it was really insane late game, it was really like a nice A tier, even S tier. But as soon as they nerfed that, they nerfed it just a little bit too much. You know, that Hex and Sludge Bomb build pretty much gets outshined nowadays by that Shadow Ball and Dream Eater build. And again, that build really needs level 13, and then you can completely one-shot somebody with these two moves, and then you can just keep dancing around in the team fight and dashing on top of people and doing a lot of work. It is very difficult to pull off, but not only that, it is just, yeah, it's so difficult to reach that point, because if you're going to be jungling against the Greninja, against the Zeraora, you just won't even reach that point ever. So that's really tough. Then on the other hand, again, the polar opposite, Absol with that Psycho Cut, with, I'm not sure what the other move is called, but the dark one, you know, the black one, the black icon, I believe you take, at least that's what most people take. Way too much damage early game. It's so annoying to play against. If it crits you, and it crits you always, I'm pretty sure, if it hits you from the back. So it's really tough to deal with. If it ganks you early game at level 5, it is so powerful, but as soon as late game comes around, the Unite move just doesn't deal that much damage. Lots of people have body barrier, lots of supports running around like Blissey and Wigglytuff that will shield their squishy teammates in teamfights. So Absol really struggles to do any kind of work in the late game. Your best bet is going to be to just abuse your mobility, go for that goal getter, and try to just only farm and score while the enemies are preoccupied in the late game. But again, just really tough to pull off. But don't worry, guys. Please don't worry, because Absol is... I see lots of Absol one tricks that still dismantle SOLOQ. It is not that bad. Like B and C is pretty close to each other. I think really just S is really just so far ahead. The Zeraora is also really strong. But then B and C, if you like Absol, guys, you can easily make it work, okay? Make sure to get that scope lens though. That is pretty much the Pokemon that needs it the most, because it has all these crit interactions. And then at the final tier, we have the Gardevoir. Now, this is probably something that confuses you to no end, okay? Because Gardevoir is usually played in lane. No one ever jungles it. I made that one video where I jungled it, and I made that video because the rank 1 player, Boki, or ex-rank 1, but he's always top 10, global, he said in one of his tweets that Gardevoir is pretty much only playable in the jungle, and I fully agree. It is the same issue that Cinderace and Charizard have. If you pick it in lane, it's just gonna be so terrible early game. You won't have fun laning as Gardevoir or with your teammate Gardevoir in lane. It is always so annoying. And if you put it in the jungle, it really reaches that level 6 much faster, which is when it gets Psyshock or Future Sight, and then it can really start dealing a decent amount of damage. But again, it also gets the Unite move at level 10, so most of the time you will get maybe like 2 Unite moves in one game, probably even 1 if you don't farm extremely well early game. So just not that strong, and it's D tier in jungle, but it's even less playable in the lane in my opinion, because again, if the enemies are playing really well, it's super tough to get to level 6 even, to get that Psyshock or Future Sight to do enough damage, you know? But yeah, anyway, that is pretty much gonna be it. Again, I tried to, I'm sorry if it seemed rushed. It's not that I don't want to be here, it's just that my last tier lists I made were 40 minutes. They have like a 5-minute average watch time because people just want to see this. They don't want to really hear too much information. So I'm trying to keep it I'm trying to keep it very, you know, spicy here, very condensed. So you can really, for those of you who care about the thoughts but don't want to see a 40-minute video, you can still enjoy it and get some tips out of it. But yeah, that is pretty much going to be it for this. Again, I really want to stress, I can't stress enough that if you don't like jungling, yes, jungling is super OP, but if you don't like jungling, don't worry. You can still carry really hard with some of the laners, okay? And yeah, just please don't worry about it. And also, there's only one jungler per team, but there's 4 laners. You will always be able to lane, but you won't be always able to jungle because there's so many people fighting for it, throwing a fit in Pokemon Select, you know? So yeah, you need to be mindful of that as well. If you're an aspiring jungle main, you will have to eventually also learn some of the laners because you won't get it every game unless you want to play double jungle sometimes, because some people are crazy and they won't care. They won't back down and they will lose games just to be in the jungle. So guys, really hope you guys enjoyed this. Please give me feedback. I don't make videos like this often. I usually make these funny gameplays where I try to be funny, you know. I don't really educate too often here. So if you have any, like again, if the tempo was too slow, too fast, if you liked some of the information I gave you, but some of them you felt were useless, please let me know in the comments below. I always want to improve these videos, of course, for you guys. And again, make sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell, because we will also upload not only more Pokemon Unite content, but especially that SOLOQ laner tier list that you definitely don't want to miss out on. With that being said, again, hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. Peace.